Like, the tariffs aren't even to a political purpose. They're for a particular gain. They're literally just because he's under this bizarre delusion that it is unfair if other countries profit from trade with you. Why would they trade with you if they don't profit from it? And that somehow just it will all just come in tenfold. It's ridiculous.
The workforce must be disciplined.
Well, and that's actually the next bit here, because
Oh God.
I think there is a cynicism that is at large happening where people are excusing.
Can we stop living in unprecedented times, please and thank you?
It's only going to get more unprecedented, sadly. So UPS has got, there's a big article going around. Everyone's talking about UPS is cutting 20,000 jobs because of Trump's tariffs. And this isn't true. And it's really interesting to watch how it's going around and how this is happening, because everyone is assuming, oh, it's because there's fewer shipments coming in, because and UPS is going with it. They're allowing that narrative because the reason that
cover. Yeah.
It's cover because Amazon's been taking their own deliveries. And so they're taking business from UPS. So yes. UPS is closing stores and reconsolidating and doing a bunch of stuff that they would be doing anyway, because they already had in place an agreement with Amazon to phase out a huge amount of their deliveries for Amazon by 2026 before Trump. So this 20,000 jobs was already a thing they knew was coming, but they get to blame it on the tariff.
This is a precedent. Yeah, this is a precedent we understood from COVID.
Yes,
when
it's
a
100%
whole lot of organizations would use the cover of COVID, even though they were being subsidized by the government to run, especially in my country, in order to justify raising prices arbitrarily and removing staff at the same time.
Yep.
And they've continued to do so indefinitely. Anyone who likes anime, like I do, are probably familiar with a whole lot of shows being delayed ostensibly because of COVID. This is not the case. COVID absolutely had an effect. It absolutely mattered. However, what was actually happening was happening long before, which is they were stretching a tiny amount of professionals ever more and more thin for cost, killing these people. These people would be stressed out of their minds, working ungodly hours, and they had a critical limit where they couldn't actually deliver anymore.
Yep.
This is ubiquitous. They are still, by the way, explaining, for example, the year-long delay of the finishing of various actually fairly prestigious shows on that basis. Oh, it was COVID in like 2023. Like, sure.
Well, and
that's it.
100%. And I think this is because this is kind of my conversation I wanted to have larger before the Ethan thing was going to be the center of it, because the ability for us to have this useful idiot, and Trump is a useful idiot, and an idiot in every single way, for sure. But this useful idiot enables people to do things at a level that I think is wild. The article says, the company in January said it had, and this was in the announcement back then, it had reached an agreement with Amazon to decrease delivery volume by more than 50% in the second half of 2026. That is not a small thing. They make up like 14% of all UPS packages. So they're going to be reducing it to a huge amount because Amazon's opening its own delivery. It's been doing its own delivery more and more and more. It's got like a DoorDash type delivery system on top of its own fleet. And that thing, they say, is something UPS chose to do as we focus on revenue quality and increase domestic operating margin and profitability. These people have said, this is normal business operations. You go around anywhere and just watch over the next day or two. These 20,000 jobs are going to be blamed on Trump. Isn't it awful that he did this thing with the tariffs? It's because there's fewer packages coming in from China. That's the reason. But not our corporate overlords who control this shit and actually make these deals all the time and just fuck everybody because they don't care. That's the part that I'm more and more as I dig into things, the more and more, again, Trump is in this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's not happily enjoying the wealth that comes with it, but the shift of all of this is really, really important. The 20,000 here is, I think, the beginning of the conversation. But when we talk about, and you brought up COVID, the thing we learned is that businesses are happy to allow prices to inflate. And then when their costs go down, they don't reduce with it because we have effectively like a monopsony. Like there's very little we can do. We have like a polyopoly, whatever you want to call it. It's like 10 people in charge. tin companies in charge.
The income tax was going to be temporary at one point.
Yeah,
this is across the board. It's like, oh, they're accustomed to a thing. Interesting. So if we do a thing, people adjust to it. People don't freak out when we don't undo the thing when we said we would. There you go. It's
when we talk about eggs, like this is what led me down this path. Have you bought eggs lately? We're an egg family. We love our eggs.
Canada. I'm the wrong person to ask as a Canadian because we're largely immune to the egg prices that you guys are dealing with. Largely because we have a lot of local suppliers. So my eggs are still actually $5 Canadian a carton.
It's actually due to pricing regulations that you guys have in place. There's also rules about bread and other things. If you remember, this is the Pete Buttigieg, the guys who tried to figure out how to get around bread prices in Canada and fuck with that. You have more pricing controls. The wholesale price of eggs has dropped. And so when Trump says eggs are down, they're down 50% or some crazy amount, he's not wildly wrong.
No, but they're not cheaper at the grocery store.
He's answering it in a way that gives him this plausible deniability of what he's actually saying. Because the reality is the price of eggs doubled over the course of like the last year, but they've been going up for the last few years. The wholesale price overall has been just leaping and leaping. I think I have one report. I've been looking through different ones, but it's like a 345% year-on-year increase with the margin shifting 120%. So like the prices go up, but then they don't recede. So as the egg prices are going down, they're actually $9 or $10. The cheapest eggs we saw at Walmart was like $7 a dozen. And those are like the generic Walmart eggs, which feel free to tell me what the ethics are on any of that. But it's like,
do you know why they I learned about this last year. They dye the yolks of their eggs.
Who does?
Which is just the Walmart eggs. The yolks are dyed. They're dyed yellow.
Weird.
Because like when you get organic eggs, they'll typically have things like blood bits in them and whatnot.
I would need a source on this.
I will too now because I'm thinking about it. It's like, okay, hang on.
That doesn't make a lot of sense, and I'm not sure kind of how they would do it because having a pierced egg
magic Brooks, they have a very fine needle that goes in, and then they use a little bit of spackle to cover up the hole.
That I'm gonna say no.
Where the fuck did I read that? Hang on.
I'm gonna say no. That's like the people who said that Taco Bell doesn't have meat, and then Taco Bell literally just won a massive lawsuit that showed that they do actually have meat. It's not like grade A, but
they also simultaneously identified several missing employees at the same time.
I'm gonna say that I'm just saying no.
You can dye egg yolks, but you'll need a fat-soluble dye because yolks contain lipids. Wait, but that's if the eggs...
That's no. That's cooking egg yolks. That's not dyeing an egg yolk in the shell.
Egg yolks artificially... Fuck, where's the... If your egg yolks are a consistent shade of deep orange, red, or bright yellow, they have probably been secretly dyed with color additives. Most Australian egg producers have been adding food dyes to artificially brighten the appearance of their egg yolks, the Daily Telegraph has reported. They are placed in the chicken's feed pellets to help farmers achieve the ideal color outcome for egg yolks and chicken. Here, let me post this for you.
That's not.
It's Daily Mail, so probably bullshit. But
yeah, but it's also you're talking about like. No. This is you. Okay, there is a difference between
if the yolks can't become yellow naturally through the hen's diet, farmers may use synthetic dyes.
It means it means that they're feeding them like carrots. Like it's like that kind of shit.
Synthetic dyes, Brooks. They may use synthetic dyes to change the color. That's what they're saying explicitly. Look. I thought it was weird, and then I realized I didn't actually learn the mechanism.
So if you haven't raised chickens, you can fuck with the like tonal color of the yolk by feeding like tomatoes and shit, carrots.
Sure, but they said synthetic dyes. Synthetic dyes are not tomatoes and shit. They're synthetic. That's what that means.
And you
I just gave you a thing. I just gave you Yeah.
I'm looking.
I'm not making it up. I'm reading it. And if they're making it up, which is always possible.
I mean, Daily Mail is a weird source.
I'm sure that's somewhere else. Hang on. Let me...
Brightened with food dyes. The Daily Telegraph would be the source. Let's go there, and that
let's try there.
is not. I can't go there. What is the link that they've got? Copy link. All right. What the fuck?
By the way, have you been noticing the BBC's? I learned about the bias in the BBC recently. I didn't realize that they were appointed by the Prime Minister. The BBC has been weirdly interested in the Conservatives winning the Canadian election. It's been very strange. It's been weird seeing them cheerlead them, because it's like, I don't really think of the BBC as like...
Synthetic food dyes are derived from peppers? I don't, this is... my language on things is like, synthetic food dyes is not, like, for example, most food dyes...
Peppers aren't tomatoes, Brooks.
Paprika, capsicum, and marigold are plants. So, like, synthetic food dyes are like I have different definitions of things, I think.
Look, the point is, your yolk color is no longer indicative of quality.
It's also not necessarily true either. It's going to depend on the egg and the farmer and a bunch of stuff. Like, there's a bunch of stuff that goes in there. Like, it's I'm gonna it's
no, the Conservatives didn't win the Canadian election. Just the BBC was invested in on that.
Hey, do you want to take 2 seconds and tell me about the Canadian election so that way an American can understand what the silly...
Yeah, my vote didn't matter because we have a first past the post system, so they actually counted the outcome before they even counted our votes, which is kind of funny, actually. Only Eastern Canada really was involved in the federal election. Liberals, minority government.
Is that good or bad, or what does that mean there?
Polyev is like a weenier version of Trump, so yes, it's very good. It's very good. Not conservative is very good. NDP.
A weenier version of Trump seems like bad.
Yeah, like imagine if Trump was played by Rick Moranis in a rom-com. Some kind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have no idea what this means policy-wise, I guess.
Have you seen their platform? Neither do they. Okay.
I'm not joking. I actually tried to look into this so we could have a conversation.
They released their platform.
It's kind of
they released their platform late. It is vague in the extreme. And Polyev they're weirdos, as conservatives tend to be. I don't know what you want to know. It's like they're like, we want more efficiency. We're gonna make more money for you. It's like, how? They don't say. It's
soy Trump. That's what someone said. Soy Trump.
He's soy Trump. That's what he is.
I kind of
hates Trump. Of course, he hates Trump, but he doesn't.
I kind of like that description.
But he's soy Trump. I'm not saying they're friends with Trump, Emoy. I'm saying that's the persona. That's what they're doing.
Hi,
A happy thought.
Oh, I don't have a happy thought, but I have a secret to tell you.
No, it's about a happy thought. Hello?